Joe Zekas from YoChicago.com. I'm out here in the open, in front of the blue building with Greg Eldridge from At Properties. Hi,
Hello.
Greg.
Hey, Joe. How you doing?
That building is bluer and bluer and bluer in the sunlight, and we got sunlight around here. You don't find that everywhere.
I know. One of the cool things about the building we've talked about before with the views, but the benefit of that when you walk out of the building is that it's sunny. You know, a lot of buildings you walk at, 50-story neighborhoods, you walk out of a building and it's like you're in a canyon. You get a little sliver of sun, maybe for a 1-hour period throughout the day. Here it's sunny all the time, and it's just a very low density neighborhood, which yields to a lot of bright sunny days when the sun's out. The other nice thing about Superior 110 is we're kind of in a neighborhood where you're close to everything. We're at the corner of LaSalle and Superior. 1 block west at Wells, north and south for several blocks, is the art district. A lot of phenomenal galleries, very cool furniture stores, all the converted loft buildings that have a very cool feel to them. 2 blocks east, you've got Whole Foods, which is very convenient to have a grocery store of that size and quality that close to you. And then a couple blocks further east from that, you've got the whole Michigan Avenue Mag Mile stretch. You're 4 blocks from the Loop, one of the best steakhouses in Chicago, just opened up in Chicago Cut on the river. Beautiful place. The whole river scene in Chicago most of the year, unless it's really, really wintry, it's still very cool. And if you're in a restaurant overlooking it, it's amazing. So that's very cool. And that's one of the other nice things about this building is your blocks, steps off and away from very, very cool restaurants. Just up the street, Cafe Iberico, really phenomenal tapas restaurant. When you gotta have breakfast, there's Yoke, which is a block and a half away. Really phenomenal food. And even when they're slamming on the weekends, you can typically get a seat at the counter very quickly. But they have really, really high quality food, and it's a big addition to the neighborhood because you got to have a breakfast joint somewhere close. And obviously Starbucks are, anywhere within a 2-block radius, there's 4 or 5 of them. It's just a super cool neighborhood where you can get to a lot of places quickly, but you don't feel like you're in this really congested city area. It has an openness and airiness to it, which is, I think, quite unique, being this close to as much stuff as we're close to. It's always very interesting to me to actually walk in a neighborhood, because when you're driving by, it's easy to just kind of blitz by something, but actually at street level, walking by stuff, you get to see architectural detail and character that you just kind of miss when you're flying by in a car. And then one of the quintessential things about Chicago for me is green space. And we are very close to some very cool parks. There's Washington Park, fairly close to here. There's across from Newberry Library, a couple blocks from here is another very nice park. You're, not very far from the lakefront. Lincoln Park, the zoo, whatever is not, a nice 10-15 minute walk from here. And the green space in Chicago, I think, is one of the ultimate fine details of the city. Being able to enjoy the amount of green space you can being in the heart of a city of the size of Chicago is, to me, a very rare find. And you're close to all that stuff here. One of the nice things about this area of River North is you're 4 or 5 blocks at least away from really kind of the big tourist centers of the city. The kind of Hard Rock Cafe, Excalibur, Rock and Roll McDonald's area is a good 4 blocks plus away, and then you've got Navy Pier, North Pier, which is quite a bit further, which is very touristy. But this area really isn't touristy, other than people enjoying restaurants, but not like a big congestion of traffic right outside your door. You're close enough to it to enjoy it, but it's not really intruding on your lifestyle.
And if you do want to take your grandchildren to the Rainforest Cafe, it's a short walk.
Absolutely. My daughter still likes going there, still likes watching the animals come to life. I'm sure she's about 8 now, so probably in another year that's over, but we're enjoying it still.